Hello YouTube, this is Shady like a tree, and I've got a domination on ambush from CoD4 for you. I got a topic here tonight that, well, actually, it's technically morning now. That is kind of near and was kind of close, hits kind of home for me. I'm going to talk about divorce in this commentary. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time, but I haven't been able to find a game that's been long enough that has an appropriate kind of feel to it. So I guess I'll just share my thoughts, give you a little history. When I was 8, my parents split. It was a divorce, not a dissolution. It was pretty bad. Got a lot of trauma from it. Not so much today, but I took a lot of trauma with it well into my high school years. So for about 10 years, I never really actually dealt with it. I dealt with it a little bit at a time, but I think I finally shed it, somewhere around my junior or senior year of high school. But a lot of what gets lost in the whole divorce are the children that are affected by this, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. I kind of want to give my point of view on this. I'm 21 years old right now, and it's it's a different thing living with my dad than living with my mom, and all the stuff that the divorce can do. For a long time, I thought that the divorce of my parents made me less of a person. Well, not really less of a person, but it took away from what I could be as a person, and now I realize that it's actually the opposite. That the divorce has allowed me to do more things, see more things, experience more things than would have ever been possible had my parents stayed together and I would have lived in that state that I was in when I was a small child. But they got divorced, and I want to say 97, late 97. I can remember being not very old, and I didn't really understand what was going on, but I was immediately angry. I do remember, like, after them sitting me down and telling me, I was immediately angry with them for whatever reason. And I just remember kicking my dad, and I locked myself in my room for 2 days. I didn't leave. And it was really kind of just kind of overwhelming for me, I guess. I mean, it's hard to think about it now. It's been 13 years or so, but for the longest time, September and August were always usually the hardest time of the year for me. When I was growing up, and I would always act up and whatnot. My mom kind of did a good thing. She had me she took me to a psychiatrist, a child psychiatrist, when I was 8, 9, 10, and 11, until I was about that age, and then I saw the school counselor a couple times. It was a rough experience in my life. I still kind of keep some of the scars of that whole situation with me in my everyday life. I'm not really sure how to say how, but that those days of looking out the window, literally waiting on my dad to come home for 3 months. Those 3 months I didn't see him. Those were really rough days. Emotionally and physically. I kind of attribute the divorce. It's kind of my own way of dealing with how I am now. I developed a lot of my habits, a lot of my personality kind of came and kind of evolved from the divorce that my parents went through, and it's no different from a lot of other kids. I never really spoke to other children about their parents' divorce. I had friends growing up where they were with a single parent, but I never knew any that had like gotten divorced. I knew like deadbeat dads and kids that had dads that had died, stuff like that. But I'd never met a set of divorced parents like what I had, and really it was kind of different in my experience. When high school, I started, meeting people with divorced parents, and I didn't really want to talk about it. But it was good that it was, looking back on I'm glad that it happened, actually, because I realized, how unhappy my parents actually were. And, both my parents are relatively happy now. And, I'm living a good life. And I get to experience, two very different worlds that have kind of shaped me, psychologically and mentally, with how I think and how I act and who I am. Um, and I like that. I like being able to say that as a direct result of whatever, and I'm surprised I didn't get the kill there. But as a direct result of that, I'm better off. I'm a better person, a more rounded person, um, overall. Now, there have been some kind of, emotional relationship scars because, my history with girls has not been a good one. I'm very hard. I'm generally a pretty cool guy, but I'm very, very, uh, not. I don't trust very easily, in my personal relationships and in my romantic ones. Um, I don't. You know, I kind of did a stupid thing because I broke up with a girl who I really loved at the time, and saying that at age 21, it was 2 or 3 years ago. I did it for all the wrong reasons. I did it because I didn't feel like it could go anywhere because we never fought or whatever, and I felt like she would eventually get bored with me and whatever. So when I decided to come up here and live with my dad and go to college, I just made up some bullshit excuses and I broke up with her. But and I kind of I don't want to say I regret it because I really think that I did what I thought was best at the time. But situations like that have always occurred to me, um, throughout my life, and I haven't really been able to effectively, have a multitude of successful relationships, um, because I kind of feel like we just fuck up our kids and we fuck up each other, mentally, and I kind of don't want to be like that. When I'm older, I don't want to be responsible for someone else and totally mess up their whole way of doing things, their way of thinking, uh, for the bad. I mean, I have no problem, telling people how to be good with their life, but it, it's just hard it's really hard to explain, how I'm feeling, several years later, and I don't get upset over it like I used to. I used to get really physically upset, but as I've gotten older, I've kind of realized that the benefits kind of outweigh the bad, and they outweigh the challenges in life that I've had. I've had lots of good times. I've had lots of happy times, and I'm generally kind of over it now. And I wanted to do this commentary just because I wanted to point out that things do get better for those of you that may be going through that now. And I was scared that that guy was gonna kill me, because he looked like a sniper, and I thought he would. But yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to say is that while a divorce can be rough, for those of you that are going through it as children or as, a husband or a wife, just keep your head up, and things will get better. You'll get through it and you'll move on. And maybe you'll find, additional love and support from wherever you may find it in the near future, because I certainly have. I'm going to a great university, and I have both my parents love me very much, and I have a stepmom who loves me very much, and I have a whole new family with new ideas and different ways of thinking that really have prepared me for life outside of my home and outside of my comfort zone. And I've tried and experienced a lot of things. I've done a lot of traveling, because of the divorce, because of whatever. And I've gotten to do a lot of things and, experienced a lot. But the video is winding down now. So if you want me to talk a little bit more, I have a little bit more to say, talk about grandparents, two Christmases, and stuff like that. Leave a comment, tell me you want to hear more. If not, then just say don't. But don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. This has been Shady Like a Tree, and we won 200 to 119. I'm out.